Ferocious storms whip through the triangle. We're getting new reports of damage, downed trees, and power outages.
Heavy storms move through fast, but they were here long enough to cause a splitting headache for some people.
And after those storms, we're left with weather that's changing in a big way. The two major improvements we'll feel tomorrow, how long it lasts, and the soonest we'll flirt with 90 degrees again.
WRAL News starts right now.
Vicious, fast-moving, and damaging. That's the best way to describe the storms that rolled through just hours ago. Thank you for joining us. I'm Deborah Morgan.
And I'm Ken Smith in for Gerald Owens. This is what the storms looked like as it started pushing into Raleigh tonight. The particularly dangerous line of thunderstorms raced through, uprooting trees and snapping power lines with straight-line wind gusts of up to 70 miles per hour.
More than 100,000 customers are still without power across the area, and right now crews are working hard to restore electricity to everyone.
We have live team coverage on the damage across the area. Julia Sims is in Chapel Hill with more on the damage there. Adam Owens will join us live with a look at the chaos this storm brought in Raleigh.
But we first begin with Chief Meteorologist Greg Fischel in the HD Weather Center. Greg?
All right, Deb, the good news is the warning that was in effect for parts of Cumberland and Sampson County has now expired, and so we don't have any more warnings in effect for those areas. Let's go to the radar here and show you what things look like, and we'll actually go back to 8 o'clock this evening, and we actually want to go to the other source if we could, and that would be Weather 4. There we go. And as we put things into motion here, you can see the initial line that came through here pressing on down toward the coast, but then additional development occurred in the southern Piedmont just to the east of Charlotte, and that activity moved across parts of southern Moore County, Hoke County, and to Cumberland County. You can see that there about 9:30 moving across that area. And then as we head on toward the current time, you can see those strong thunderstorms finally making it into areas that didn't see the activity earlier this evening, areas like Pender County and Onslow County, and that activity continues at this hour, and that's where most of the action is going to be tonight. Now, in terms of storm reports, all of those dots, those blue dots, indicate where wind damage reports, in fact, well over 100 in the Raleigh-Durham area that the National Weather Service covers, and in the country, over 600 wind damage reports just since midnight last night. So an amazing number there. The good news is we've got much better things to look forward to tomorrow and over the weekend, and we'll address the details of that coming up in just a bit. Back to you.
See you then. Thanks, Greg. Our team coverage continues now of these storms.
Let's get right to it. WRAL's Adam Owens live in the 5 Points area of Raleigh. Adam, what did you see tonight?
Ken, Deborah, say what you will about this storm. It was efficient. It paid a very short visit to the NoFo Cafe and Market here behind me and knocked over a very large popular shade tree here on the patio deck, bending like Play-Doh. A very thick metal railing here behind me. In our tour of damage in this area, it appears the falling tree is the story in Raleigh.
No, it's just a mess. I mean, it's just a mess.
The worst of the storm did not last long in Raleigh, but it was too long for Kelly Cobb.
It's pretty much a humongous tree over, you know, kind of laying diagonally over my house.
It smashed in the roof of her home off Wake Forest Road, damaging her master closet and bathroom. About 6 months ago, she says she had a tree expert out to look at the same pine. He advised her not to cut it down.
It survived hurricane after hurricane. You know, it's not coming down unless a tornado like hits directly. And lo and behold,
Here we
it came
are.
down.
Another falling tree along Glenwood Avenue aimed right for Katie Rogers.
I heard this really loud noise. I saw a flash of light, and then I saw the tree coming from this corner of my eye, and I just heard the loud noise when it hit my car.
It brought down a power pole. Rogers says she tried to get away by laying on the gas pedal.
The car just completely stalled out.
We found several trees that could not stand up to the storm. This large one fell on Hillsborough Street, knocking out the back glass of a vehicle and partially blocking the road. Another limb fell across Brooks Avenue. When we arrived, firefighters were already working to clean it up. Saws were also buzzing at NoFo at 5 Points in Raleigh. A tree that worked to shade customers on a deck retired, laying over in the wind.
Our deck dining's going to be down for a little bit.
Like several others, workers found a break in the clouds to put things back together.
We checked the Doppler 5000 and saw that there was an opening in between the storms, so we decided we'd rush over and try and clean it up a bit.
And you can see live here where they did clean it up a little bit. In our tour of the area in Raleigh, we have seen damage to businesses. We have seen damage to homes and damage to vehicles. Thankfully, what we did not find were injuries to people in all of this, and that is what is important.
That is the good news. And Adam, it looks like the power is on where you are.
Yeah, you know, you would go to areas where power lines were even down, but they were able to get power up very quickly, and power is in this area where we're at right now. I will tell you, though, at 5 points for quite some time earlier today, those traffic lights you see back there were dark.
Well, at least they're on now. All right, Adam, thanks.
Well, let's head to Chapel Hill where Julia Sims joins us live from the damage there. And Julia, you had quite a night up there.
Ken, yeah, and you know, Chapel Hill is definitely got some bumps and bruises as a result of this storm, but the best news of all is nobody was hurt. As for the damage, well, you can find it on either end of Franklin Street and plenty of places in between. In Chapel Hill, a parade of heavy cranes moved through the second the storm rolled out, while residents pulled themselves, or at least their cars, out from under. Public Works crews started cutting their way through town.
Run. And they're like we're just running in circles, but it's all over the town here, everywhere. So we're doing the best to get it clear, you know.
The storm didn't discriminate. A falling limb punched right through this luxury Lexus. Damage and debris was strewn across the university town. But perhaps the biggest inconvenience was right here on West Franklin Street, where cars zigzagged and people stared.
It got dark out here, came outside, looked over to the right, and thereby saw that tree falling, just up and then left.
That tree is still down. Those 2 lanes on Franklin Street are still blocked. What crews can't get to tonight, Ken, they say they'll be at it again tomorrow morning.
And like you said, Julia, the best news of all, no one was seriously hurt. Julia Sims live tonight in Chapel Hill.
From one side of our area to the other, trees are down everywhere. Here in Hoke County, a massive tree cut right through a home. A viewer sent us these pictures from Wallace McLean Road at Crawford Wright Road in Rayford. No word tonight if anyone was at home at the time. Well, this is cleanup from Club Boulevard in Durham. You can see crews working to remove all the mess from fallen branches and trees in the middle of the road. They used a crane to remove some of the biggest pieces. And a tree came crashing down onto a mobile home in Franklin County. There was someone at home when the tree crashed right into the living room. This is on Moulton Drive north of Lewisburg. The man was shaken up but not hurt. He's staying with friends tonight.
Several neighborhoods in Cary took a pounding from the storm. The high winds took out trees, knocked out power, and disrupted traffic. Colin Browder tours that damage.
For 200 years, this tree stood in Cary. Thursday's storm ended the oak and sent it crashing down on this house and car on West Park Street downtown. The strong wind pushed over this tall pine until it was cradled by power lines along Davis Drive. The precarious situation not only knocked out power, Cary police shut down the road between Hogan's Valley and Caviston. In nearby Preston Village,
it was really windy and rainy.
Something like I've never heard before is that loud. It was really crazy.
The craziness took out tree after tree, some snapping, others pulled out by the roots. These hardwoods crashed down on a backyard fence, narrowly missing homes on Baronique Lane.
I was just amazed like how that happened. Like we knew it was loud and all that, but we didn't know something could happen like that.
It was pure chaos. There was just things knocked over everywhere.
Fortunately, more tree than property damage here, but the cleanup won't be quick. Colin Browder, WRAL News, Cary.
Well, Davis Drive in Cary remains closed, and thousands are still without power tonight.
In western Wake County, as quickly as the storm hit areas such as Holly Springs and Fuquay-Varina, it was gone.
Yeah, but not before knocking out power to dozens of neighborhoods and causing some traffic headaches. The fast-moving storm had emergency crews rushing to stay ahead of the rain and high winds that blew debris and snapped trees in this Holly Springs neighborhood.
It sounded like whistling and it was really loud, and I walked outside and all these trees were like all bent that way. I got whipped by a bunch of leaves and came running back inside.
Along Highway 55, these power lines got the worst of it when the high winds split this tree, also knocking out traffic signals. A similar scene played out along Highway 401 near Wake Tech. No traffic signals, drivers were on their own, so were students. Wake Tech canceled all evening classes because of the storm. Now, the hardest hit area, though, in western Wake County was along Old Stage Road. A Wake County Sheriff deputy had to caution drivers near Old Stage and Highway 42. Crews cut up and moved a huge tree that had been blocking the entire road. A few miles up Old Stage Road in Woodlawn, crews were trying to make quick work of this huge tree that fell across the road, blocking all lanes.
A tree's down, go that way.
About a block away, Tara Whitley was trying to do her part to warn drivers about the downed tree.
It's just Southern hospitality. There's a tree down. Go that way. Go that way. Some of them listen, some of them don't. I'm just trying to help.
Well, she was doing her best to help. At this hour, crews are still working on that downed tree along Old Stage Road near Woodlawn Drive. Old Stage Road remains closed in that area. Highway 1010 is an alternate route. Also, word tonight that Wake Tech classes will resume tomorrow.
So nice of her to try to help out her neighbors. Very cool. Well, what an event this was to capture in pictures. Before, during, and after the storm, people picked up their cameras and snapped amazing photos of the storm as it blew through. From a bird's eye view above downtown Raleigh, you could see the full expanse of the storm as it rolled closer. You couldn't help but look in awe toward the sky. The swirling clouds, a sign of the high winds about to strike here in Holly Springs, and farther east along the main street in Nashville. As the storm passed, it left damage in several backyards and so many trees down in its wake, especially some of the old, huge trees like this one in Chapel Hill or this one in the Brookhaven neighborhood in Raleigh. Root balls so large, these children in Garner look so small standing nearby, and branches landed in places they just shouldn't be. But in the end, the awesome sky turned to one of beauty. Incredible colors replaced the darkness, and this is worth remembering.